Hong Kong. Its transport network is the envy of any city. More than 90% of the population use the bus, tram or train to reach their destination. People may arrive at work on time, but they've also been left breathless. Roadside pollution is on the rise. How can the city reduce these emissions and improve air quality? The government believes the answer may lie in electric technology, something we are only just now seeing commercially available.
Hong Kong is ready. Hong Kong is receptive. Hong Kong is becoming a city which people would associate with this new technology.
Edward Yao, the city's first Environment Secretary, believes that Hong Kong can become an example to the world. He thinks that not only can electric vehicles become a reality on its streets, the city can achieve a higher rate of EV take-up than anywhere else.
So my job is basically to make sure that there is a sustainable case for this technology and whether it suits Hong Kong or not. The beauty of EV is it coincides with our pursuit for cleaner air.
So what is the government doing to make this goal happen? Is Hong Kong in the fast lane or is it in the slow lane? Together, the governments of China, the US and France have pledged billions in incentives to help car companies produce electric vehicles. China has also introduced a large-scale program to encourage the purchase of electric buses, taxis and commercial vehicles. Japan and Canadian province Ontario offer consumers a $10,000 subsidy to make EVs more affordable. The US offers $7,500. Washington has also announced that it will pour $2.4 billion into electric and hybrid vehicle technology, as well as battery development. Now let's take a look at Hong Kong, a city described by Edward Yao as an ideal electric vehicle location. In his 2009 budget speech, Financial Secretary John Tsang announced the formation of a steering committee consisting of academics, officials and heads of industry. The committee will study the wider use of EVs in Hong Kong and has so far met twice in 2009 since its inception. Tsang also continued the waiver on registration tax, making EVs tax-free until 2014. Tax otherwise would vary from 35% to more than 100% based on the size and value of the car. License fees are also discounted from about 4,000 Hong Kong dollars to about 440. There is also a special exemption for environmentally friendly cars up to 50,000 Hong Kong dollars. However, the government were unable to tell us how many had applied for the waiver or the exemption. The government has signed memoranda of understanding with Nissan and Mitsubishi, and, as a result, at least 200 electric cars are expected to be marketed in Hong Kong by the end of 2010. In his 2009 policy address, Chief Executive Donald Tsang also announced the framework of a leasing scheme. Details are so far thin on the ground, but the plan is intended to enable more drivers to experience EVs. For some, that the government has begun the debate at all is noteworthy.
I think the government's been very supportive. So, some people say that, government needs to get involved. I think they have. So, if you look at the Financial Secretary's budget speech, he announced a number of things that are encouraging for electric cars. So, for example, waiving first registration tax, committing to adopting electric cars in the government fleet, also setting up the steering committee. I think all these things are positive.
However, there is also a feeling among EV advocates that compared with other countries, there is a lot more that the government could do. Aside from policy, the government is also in a position to remove any regulatory barriers that might inhibit the use of EVs. For example, the My Car now is available with right-hand drive and has been registered, but only on Hong Kong roads with a 50 km/h speed limit. The government has also talked about creating low emission zones in polluted urban areas. Other suggestions include dedicated lanes reserved for low-emission vehicles and more protection of tram lines from traffic interference. But the government's role is not limited to promoting use among consumers. Businessmen like Ergo's Jeffrey Chen say it should push harder to promote Hong Kong's green economy.
Another area I think is R&D and innovation. We live in a very multinational, very sophisticated city, and I think there's a lot of talent in Hong Kong. We've developed projects in Hong Kong, my car. I think there are other things that Hong Kong can work on. We could be a centre of excellence for battery management systems, for battery technology. So, you know, it's a big business, it's a big pie, and Hong Kong definitely has a role to play.
The government agrees and sees the opportunity.
As I said earlier, there is a big business opportunity for our businessmen if they were to seize that, because it's really not just cars. They're talking about batteries, they're talking about charging systems, motors, and so forth. So the opportunities are there, and hopefully people will be able to grasp it.
Commercial vehicles, be they goods vehicles, passenger van, buses, are all very big potential market for the EV technology.
Although a vocal advocate, the government hasn't committed any resources to promote industry and R&D. The government, in its own right, is a consumer. In 2009, it took one iMEV on a 6-month trial. Both Zhang and Yao say that they are happy with the car's performance and will purchase 10 cars from Mitsubishi at nearly 500,000 Hong Kong dollars each. But again, should the government be doing more?
But I think it's typical Hong Kong that we do not just count on government pushing. If there is any possible means for the market to work together, for enterprises to join in, and also by deploying new technology, I think we're basically creating a win-win situation where, on the one hand, helping improving air quality, and at the same time, sort of creating opportunity. So I think that the reinforcement or the synergy would be extremely useful in pushing the environmental envelope.
On the surface, government policy is thin on the ground, but the debate has just begun. Interest from green tech businesses has also increased. What might be the final piece in the puzzle is the consumer. If Hong Kongers can get excited about EVs, then that would really set something in motion.
Because we're not just talking about a change, a replacement program with cars, with electric vehicles. We are really talking about a pretty fundamental mindset change, a cultural change.